Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Welch. I'm the sports editor here at Star Local Media. I am being joined by Devin Hassan. Devin, say hi to the internet.
Hi to the internet.
So we're here to talk game of the week for week 2 of the high school football season. A much more competitive round of voting this time around. All week long, it was either Rowlett and Rockwall or Frisco Lone Star and Mansfield Timberview. Then within the last hour of voting, actually a late charge made by the folks out in Mesquite. And Mesquite Horn versus Skyline ends up taking the nod for our game of the week. So I am here with Devin, who will be on site at the Cotton Bowl on Saturday at 1:30 in the afternoon for Mesquite Horn versus Skyline. Just going to talk a little bit about that game. So Devin, obviously, this game is obviously a big deal to the folks out in Mesquite. It's voted game of the week. So I guess what do you just talk a bit about just the significance of this matchup and just what kind of jumps out at you when you look at Skyline versus Horn?
Well, I think this may not have the star power of the Allen Cedar Hill game that we had last week, but these are two teams who have really kind of forged a reputation of success here over the past decade. They have been perennial playoff teams, and I think as a fan, that's what you want to see is good teams play good teams. At the same time, they both have a lot of question marks. A lot of people are trying to figure out what to make of both as they head into the start of district play here in a couple of weeks. And I certainly think having the Cotton Bowl as a backdrop is also an element of interest. It's certainly a great opportunity and memory for those players and coaches. But again, from a fan standpoint, how many chances do you have to see a game at the Cotton Bowl? It's one of the most historic venues in the country, and they play a handful of games, 3 or 4 college games, and we have this showcase this weekend with 4 high school games. So I think that adds to the matchup as well.
So obviously these two played last year as well during non-district play. A game that was kind of over before it started as Horn ran away from Skyline for a 44-6 victory. We'll see if the Raiders close the gap at all this year. So kind of looking at this specific matchup, what about this one kind of jumps off the page at you? What are you going to be looking for on Saturday?
Well, I think Horn has made the playoffs 9 straight years, and you don't do that without being able to reload rather than rebuild. And one of the reasons they've been able to be so successful is they've been extremely fortunate at the quarterback position. They've really had 3 quarterbacks during that 9-year run, starting back with Emory Miller. Destry White was a kid who was on varsity for 4 years, and then obviously Chris Robinson the last 3 years. And it looks like they got a 4th one in line with Jermaine Givens. He was pressed into duty last year as a sophomore, responded really well, passed for 770 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's a dual threat kid, rushed for 412 yards and 5 scores. Solid numbers in very limited action. So they had a lot of confidence in him coming in this year, but you never know until you're given that full-time role. Last week, they defeated McKinney Boyd 52-34. Givens, as was advertised, very efficient through the air, 15 of 20, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, picked his spots running, 87 yards and a score on the ground. So really what the coaches were hoping. I think the question for the Horn coaching staff was what to do around him at the skill positions where they had a lot of question marks. They need a go-to guy in the backfield. Esias Taylor had a nice game last week. We'll see if he emerges as that guy they can depend on running the ball. They, much like at quarterback, they've had a long line of great receivers out there, and they're hoping that Maurice Wren would be the next in line. He's got all the measurables that colleges are looking for. He's 6'3", just hadn't had that breakout game. Well, last week against Boyd, 6 catches, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. His 64-yard touchdown in the 4th quarter really sealed that game, and that's just a glimpse of things to come. They've got their star on the outside. Cornell Caldwell, the guy that they've been trying to find a role for the last couple of years. He's more of a speed guy. He came on strong, 6 catches and a touchdown last week. So that Horn offense that we kind of come to expect average 40 points a game, there might have been some questions coming in. They look like they have the potential to do so, but they should get a good test against a Skyline defense that did give up 57 last week in a loss against a good Arlington Martin team.
Very true.
But traditionally has the speed, the athleticism, the size to provide a big challenge on that side.
And Givens, he saw time last year against Skyline, right?
Yes, he did. He did come in. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but yeah, that's one of the benefits. You never want to see a player get hurt, but to have a sophomore be able to come in and respond. He did it in district play as well. As we know, 11-6A, when you're going against the Longviews and John Tylers and the Rockwalls and Rockwall Heaths, it's certainly one of the toughest districts in the region, if not the state. So just tremendous experience with him, and I think you saw that in the opener against Boyd.
And he's already got experience going up against that same Skyline defense that he's going to be seeing on Saturday. So obviously I can't let you get out of here without a prediction. So just kind of how do you see this one playing out, and who do you see coming away with the victory?
Well, like I say, Skyline returned 7 starters on defense, but I don't know if they can do enough to slow down Horn. On the flip side, Skyline had their own sophomore quarterback last year, Belton Gardner. Came in, threw for 1,000 yards, rushed for 1,000 yards, district newcomer of the year, but they're kind of in the same boat as trying to find people around him. But I think he's dynamic enough to make plays against a young Horn front. The Horn defense, their strength is in the secondary with B.J. Williamson and Broderick Calhoun, who are both Louisiana Tech commits. They have active linebackers. And so I think Gardner will be able to pick up some yards and make some plays. Horn's strength, they'll give up their share of yards, but they make plays. They force turnovers, they force negative plays. And I think they'll be able to do enough of that against Skyline. It's not going to be a 44-6 type of outcome, but I certainly see Horn as the favorite in a 34-21 type game.
Okay, well there you have it, folks. This is Devin Hassan. I am Matt Welch. Again, Devin will be on scene out at the Cotton Bowl covering Mesquite Horn versus Skyline on Saturday. Devin, where can these folks follow you along on Twitter if they're not able to make it out to Dallas?
Well, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Devin Hassan, and certainly check out our website at starlocalmedia.com/sports.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks.